Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live stream. Right now, this is the WWE Backlash 2020 live reaction.
And this will be the greatest live reaction.
He was doing this after every single move that Randy Orton and Edge made. This is the greatest headlock ever. This is the greatest chop ever. And
this is the greatest suplex ever.
We almost had the greatest murder mystery ever. But we'll get to that in a moment. Let's start out this Backlash card. They start out with the triple threat tag team match for the women's tag team championships. That's easy for me to say. Say that 5 times fast. Between Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, the Iconics, and the champions, the SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, and Sasha Banks. And Sasha Banks and Bayley did retain, as per, at least, I don't remember what you said, but at least my prediction.
Yeah.
Maybe you said it, or did you think maybe the Iconics?
I can't recall, but I was hoping for Sasha and Bayley to retain. Just zero reason to take these titles off of these two. Actually, now that I recall, I probably did pick the Iconics because I thought that they would want to further escalate the storyline with Bayley and Sasha, but they could always take those titles off them at Extreme Rules.
Or NXT
or at NXT this week, which now they will be defending those titles against Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox. So that's gonna be happening. But I mean, okay match. Again, just it's really hard for me to get interested with the WWE Women's Tag Team division just because there's only 3 teams. Like basically in this match, that was their whole women's tag division. They just don't have enough teams, and these girls have been pretty much involved with each other. I mean, outside of Sasha and Bayley. I mean Alexa and Alexa, Nikki, and the Iconics have been essentially involved for God knows how long. So until they actually give us some actual storylines that are intriguing and get some more people involved, it's going to be an uphill battle to get people to actually care about this, which is why they should involve NXT as well with these titles. Just to get some more teams involved.
No, I think having it, I thought this was a good match as well. Not bad, not great, just a good match to start off the show. I think having these titles in the NXT women's division for a bit should really help, because obviously there's more women down there. You can have like a Tegan Nox, Shotzi Blackheart. You have a Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez. You have a Kaden Carter, and oh my God, her name's slipping. Casey Graziano, something Italian.
Yeah.
So you have at least 3 there, right off the top of my head.
And that array right there gives you 6 tag teams, which is more than enough to at least supplement a division.
There's that. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. Yeah, but that's a start. And it's something fresh, and if you can get the main roster people intertwining with those, it's fresh, it's different, it's not Alexa Bliss and
Nikki
Cross facing the Kabuki Warriors again and over and over, which who knows if not really a team right now, but that's always a possibility. But yeah,
it seems pretty unlikely as long
because
as
Kairi Sane is dead,
and on top of that, Asuka is currently the Raw Women's Champion. Which,
right.
But before we get to that match, the next thing we had was Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. Yeah, like, I mean, as far as this storyline in general, I haven't been watching SmackDown weekly, but I've been keeping up with it, and yeah, I'm still on the fence about this whole storyline. I get it. It's life imitating art sort of thing, and they're trying to get a little bit more personal, but and I talked about this on the podcast too this week. It's just, man, I for a guy who has been battling substance abuse issues, I'm pretty on the fence about this. And then for the match itself, it was okay. Jeff is he's moving slower, man. You can definitely tell that just age is really starting to creep up. He just looks way more fragile than I recall. But then again, I haven't been seeing too many of his matches recently. He just looks old, and that's going to happen when you've been doing this thing for over 20 plus years. But I was a little bit surprised that they put Sheamus over here so clean. I was expecting some sort of shenanigans to kind of protect both guys, because as we talked about in our preview, I felt like that for both guys that it like neither could really afford a loss, and having Jeff lose here was just kind of weird. It was very TNA-ish here how they did this thing.
In a way, I like this match. I think this is one of the 3 matches I liked. They were good, top tier in my opinion. I didn't even notice the Hardy moving slow thing. I thought it was thought it was fine.
Well, but in my defense, I haven't been seeing too much of his matches, and like you have been watching weekly, so you are probably more used to seeing him.
Well, I don't know how many matches he's had since that, but I didn't know.
It just like he looked
slow down, but
I mean, he was either selling really well or like he was like he seemed pretty banged up to me there, but
he could be selling.
Yeah, he could be selling pretty.
I think this Hardy losing, Sheamus winning, I don't think it's out of the ordinary. I think it's just delaying the upcomings, or whatever the phrase is, of Hardy getting that win. And then the final blow-off could be at Extreme Rules, where a gimmick match can actually finish a feud.
Yeah, and obviously would imagine we're going to get some special stipulation for that, because if you're Sheamus, like, why would you want to face him again? You beat him pretty convincingly. You know, it would have to be like, hey Jeff, if you want me to face you again, you would have to put your career on the line or something like that. Because just from a logic standpoint, if you're Sheamus, like why would you want to face him again?
Right.
Wouldn't you want to move on to a title match or something here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But at least it prolongs it. You get the heel comes. They can figure out the finagle of the story. There's a way to do it. But again, a gimmick match can actually finish a feud. I feel like this is well placed. At least this pay-per-view coming up to finish this, because other times you get a feud that like starts at Extreme Rules with a gimmick match, which makes no sense. Things lead up, like Hell in a Cell. Things back in the day led up to Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, oh, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view's here, we're in a Hell in a Cell match.
Or do what
or
Edge
TLC.
do what Edge and Orton did, and they just did a last man standing match, even though it was just their first match. So.
In my head, this one works because of the circumstances of Edge coming back and saying, okay, you beat me in a gimmick match, but can you beat me? You're a wrestler. Can you actually beat me in a wrestling match with no shenanigans? Yeah. So to me, that's forgivable. That makes more sense than if it was Apollo Crews and Andrade fighting in the last man in the regular match. That makes no sense. But I thought this was a good match. One of the three. And then pretty much move on from that.
Now for the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Nia Jax. I did not care for this. I did not think that this was any particularly good. And the finish would just left a bad taste in my mouth. And worst part about this is that this feud is indeed continuing. God help us all. Because I'm just like, you know how I feel about Nia Jax. I
have no idea what you're talking about.
Just her being involved with any title whatsoever, I feel is just laughable. Hell, I don't even think that she should even be on TV right now. But it was what it was. No one really thought that Asuka was going to be losing her title with her first title defense here. So this is obviously going to be extended into Extreme Rules. I do not expect Asuka to be dropping the title anytime soon. I mean, the only person I can really realistically see taking the title off of her is probably Charlotte, which I'm going to guess that's probably going to be penciled in for SummerSlam.
Yes, and I think that's the time Asuka beats Charlotte.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that, man, and she's another one, and you know how I feel about her. They need to build up other women within this DUE division that isn't named. Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley, because those are your four who are consistently at the top there. We need some other women to filter in on either Raw or SmackDown, and eventually we need to put out a search party. Where is Bianca Belair? Is she around? Is she lost?
She's taking care of
Montez Ford.
Yeah, Montez Ford's
testicles,
bowling balls.
So nothing else to really say about that match, Matt.
Yep.
Yeah. So now to the Universal Championship between the Braun Express.
I forgot about this match.
Versus Miz and Morris.
If you could have saw my reaction,
you were like, "Oh no!"
When the smoke came, and they had the choo choo train and the Braun Express thing. At the same time, we're sitting on my deck on this couch. I fell over, and at the same time, face palm. I went.
A Train was definitely better.
Choo choo. You're killing me, Smalls. Why? What you do at the Braun? The Strowman Express.
God, like that.
Woot.
Like he was already getting pretty cartoony, but now it's like, my God, this is the stuff that like just gets people to stop caring about him. And before that, we had this god awful music video by Miz and Morrison.
You shut your filthy mouth.
Was cringe
No,
as
it wasn't.
hell.
You're the only one that thought that.
My Twitter feed says otherwise. See, you can't
My Twitter feed says different.
You can't even speak in complete sentences right now
because I am so overwhelmed with the lyrics that spoke to me.
This is what happens when you're talking to someone who's believing their own bullshit here. Matthew Haladia, ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Haladia.
Of course I wouldn't believe my own. Why wouldn't I not believe my own stuff?
Because
That'd be pointless. If I say something, I'm going to believe it. I'm like Bruce Pritchard. I believe my own stuff.
So
my Twitter feed, the important people that matter on the Twitter machine, the important people, the important accounts.
I would love to know who these important people are.
Okay. We're gonna scroll through the Twitter machine. Okay, well, keep on talking. I'll find it.
But anyways, for the match itself, and this was a daily theme about tonight, I did not care about this match whatsoever. This was a clear filler feud just to basically buy time for eventually what is going to happen between Strowman versus the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Just the fact that they put these two together just gave you there was no faith or any chance that they were going to put the title on either Miz or Morrison. And the whole story was, and apparently they just found this out today, that basically whichever one of those two guys pinned, if they pinned Strowman, they would become the new champion. So the whole story throughout the match was they were kind of unsure how they felt if one or the other became champion, and in one spot specifically that kind of cost them a chance there, which eventually Strowman won. There's not much else left to say about this. Matt, anything to add?
Fightful Wrestling. This music video is probably the best thing on the show so far.
Sounds sarcastic.
How can you read sarcasm from text?
Because I can read minds.
Shut up. There's more people. Hang on. Anywho, but there was more people. You friends. Yeah, I'm calling you out.
So
you have no humor.
So, but are you saying that the bunch of my friends are just some marks or something?
That's exactly what. That's what I
and Matt is having issues again with his microphone. I swear.
This is loose. This happened to you before we did our podcast.
I swear you have this issue every single time that we have a podcast.
No, you know what? My issue is that you don't like music.
Yeah. But anyways, any thoughts on Strowman versus Miz and Morrison?
It was a thing, and it didn't overstay his welcome. We go from there.
Yeah. All right. So then we had the WWE Championship between Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. This was better than I thought that it was going to be. Really impressed with just strictly with his matches with Drew, and every single one of his title defenses. They've been pretty good. I don't think that he should be taking the title off anytime soon. He, to me, and Drew is one of those guys who should have an 8, 9, or 10-month title reign, where he needs to be solidified as one of the top guys in the company. Because without guys such as wrestlers such as Becky Lynch and obviously Roman Reigns, we need to get some other solidified main event guys, and probably right now, Matt, I would say probably that guy right now is probably Drew. Yeah.
He is
solid match.
Yes, he is one of the better booked champions WWE has had in a while. I thought this was the second of my favorite matches here. This was really good. Of course, you had the ending of Lana coming out and telling the ref you cheated, which makes no sense.
Yeah, that
you cheat.
What did the ref do? Like,
how does the ref cheat? And he's the one that makes no sense.
Yeah, but you would think that this will probably solidify Lashley and her officially splitting up.
Divorce, thank God.
Yeah, I would imagine that that's going to happen relatively soon. Just my whole thing with this whole feud has been, it's been hard for me to really buy this, just because Lashley has been signed with the company for almost 3 years now, and he's been booked as a complete joke for a good portion of that.
The only reason I buy it more now is that they did build him up leading up to this, and he's with MVP. Since it doesn't help,
or it doesn't hurt.
If it was still with Lana, then yes,
it would be significantly worse.
100% agree. With MVP, there was his chances of winning went up, not great, but there was always that possibility. But with that Lana tease talk of Lana before the match, you figured something was going to happen. So like his chances went from winning to like less than the 1% to 5%.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about here. But I think I don't know what happens going forward if this continues down in the Extreme Rules. Maybe I could see that, because
I would probably have him go somewhere else. But then at the same time, too, they really don't have any other challengers for Drew right now on
do
Raw.
Something, I don't know, Lana in a shark cage. I don't know.
I honestly, I think that they probably continue this.
To get to SummerSlam, yes.
Yeah, and SummerSlam. I want a bigger match for Drew, because he really does deserve
I'm just
that.
trying to figure out who that is.
Right, and I just don't think that there is that guy right now, and that's the problem. Like who do you go with? He's already beaten guys such as Seth. He's beaten Brock, and now he's beaten Lashley now. And you go up and down Raw's roster. Who is there? You're really
Even
trying.
though he's not in it, the only one I'm thinking is Owens, but he's not in. No. He's not sniffing that title picture right now. He's in something else.
Yeah. Why they did not. Figure out if they would have had AJ still on freaking Raw, that makes a ton of sense. And not to mention, they've never faced each other before. It was one of the few fresh matches that you had. But supposedly, according to one report that said that supposedly AJ and Heyman just did not get along, which is kind of irrelevant now, since obviously he is no longer in charge.
Well, at least maybe he can make he can have a good IC run.
Right.
So that's a possibility. So yeah, but again, this was a good match, finish, but expected. That's what I want to say. So yeah.
And now we get on to Matt's favorite part of the evening, which was basically WWE's version of the Stadium Stampede match that I had so much fun watching Matt just try to make sense out of all of this here. And hey buddy, I'll let you go off on this here, since you have a lot on your mind about this.
Well, I don't know about going off. But I'm going to be objective on this. If I went if I dislike the Stadium Stampede, right,
There's no reason why you should like this,
then I should be fair and not like this.
I cannot wait, by the way, on the side note, cannot wait to see Jim Cornette's review about this here.
Yes, of the whole show.
Oh, God.
There were parts I did laugh and enjoy, as in some parts in the Stadium Stampede. I'm not going to say this was the worst thing ever. We've seen worse, but I'm trying to be fair when crapping on something AEW did and then crap on something WWE did that is in a similar fashion. So this was, I wish this tag team storyline with the Street Profits and Viking Raiders, which I'd like them both, stops, because I don't know if this is doing, even though in parts could be entertaining, I don't think it's doing the everything as a whole any favors.
Yeah, and to I'm sure this was the number one reason why FTR left, was like, this was one of the main reasons why. It's just because their tag team division is just seen as a giant joke right now, and like,
I just
yeah.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish your point.
Yeah, and so I mean, for me, it was entertaining as hell. I was really entertained by the Stadium Stampede, and I was really entertained by this. It's just a lot of it, just like, and the same thing with the Stadium Stampede. Just a lot of stuff just did not make any sense. Like at one point it was Viking Raiders versus the Street Profits, and then
they come together
to face Akira Tozawa and some ninjas.
Can we no, that's my point. We talked about on the podcast about the Japanese stereotypes, and then they bring
Bruce Lee,
we bring Tozawa in as a freaking ninja on motorcycles.
Yeah.
That's not playing into a stereotype.
Absolutely is right there.
And why Tozawa is a ninja and has a motorcycle gang, I don't know.
And by the way,
the whole thing is I didn't know.
And by the way, his motorcycle gang were a bunch of freaking weaklings. They were the worst trained. They were the worst trained ninjas I have ever seen.
This is why Tozawa won the cruiserweight title. Right there.
Yeah, and so
and then after that, they climb up on boxes onto the trucks.
Why? And why were they
get away? They get away from the big
ninjas.
The big ninja, which apparently just said, "Screw it, I'm done with this." And just walked, and they just walked away.
Yeah. I just thought about it. They never followed up on that.
They never followed. He was there. He stood there as intimidating, and didn't chase after him. And then all of a sudden, they're fighting again.
Yep, I was like,
and then they fall into the dumpster, and WWE has got to take out the trash because a lot of people were saying they were playing off of the Star Wars trash compactor monster in the, was it first? Not the first one. The second Star Wars movie when they're in the trash, or was that the first one?
So. I want to say it was the
second one.
Yeah,
second
one. Yeah.
No, it was the first.
I can't.
It doesn't matter.
It's
just somebody with something. Hey, how do you not know? So yeah, they're playing off that. I mean, WWE's got to do some pest control. They got to get the Orkin man here to put some traps.
And then at the end, they had the freaking women's referee show up and say, "Hey, you guys were supposed to have a match now." And
no, your match is next, which it wasn't next.
Yeah, and then she said that
Ivar was cute.
That Ivar was cute and Eric was not cute.
Yes, which is the theme going through all these.
And apparently a lot of these people seem to forgot that he's married, so who cares?
Why can't he be cute and married at the same time?
Because when you get married, your life ends, man.
You're ugly. You turn ugly.
Because your life ends. So Yeah.
So there you go.
So there you go.
I was entertained, but at the whole, I'm trying to be objective and hate both, and say this is not helping anybody.
And I was just like, oh god, this is gonna be.
This is
pretty
herd
cool.
teen. If somebody who didn't watch wrestling came over my house, walked on my back deck, and watched this and went, if they said, "What the hell are you watching?" I would be like, it'd be like, put your head down. That's the one. That's the one thing there. But regardless, I think nobody retained. I don't know if this was a match. They retained. They didn't lose. I don't know. It happened. Yes.
Yep. And then we move on to the greatest match ever: Randy Orton versus Edge, and what was a different match. Not something I was expecting. You had Lil Nate dressed in OWF attire from the 80s. You had the old school
MSG Mike.
MSG Mike, and you brought back
The ghost of Finkel.
the ghost of Howard Finkel, which was amazing. And then the match happened, and by God, it wasn't I would say the greatest match, but it was a pretty damn good match.
I said this on the the podcast, or whenever I said this, I said, I'm not gonna compare this to the tagline. I'm gonna look at this solely on the match itself, and this match was great.
Yep, I would definitely agree with that.
This match was nearly 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do think it still went entirely too long.
I don't know.
However,
It didn't feel long.
however, it was still really damn good. I think it could have been cut about 10 minutes, which around 30 or 35 I would have been fine with, but that was being extremely nitpicky, and to me this was way better than with their WrestleMania match. It just begged the question, why didn't they just do this, on WrestleMania? I think that if they would have had this on that show, I think a lot of people would have been perfectly happy about this.
A lot of people have said this, but I kind of wish I could have saw this match in front of a crowd.
Yep. Oh yeah, it would have
Lost their freaking minds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I don't know where Backlash was supposed to be at.
Yeah,
Red City, but if this was one of your top tier, if this was in one of your top tier locations, this probably would have, as just with the crowd reaction, pushed it up several notches. If there was any notches left to be notched. And speaking of crowd noise, they had extra camera angles, and I did say this before the match started. They did pipe in some crowd noise at the ambience, which was noticeable, but it wasn't overbearing that it, at least for me, I don't know about you, took anything away. It wasn't obnoxious. It kind of in a way added to it in a kind of bit minus. I mean, it wasn't just the PC wrestlers that at times the chanting may not come over well on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think the pipe in this case helped a bit. Again, it wasn't just overly crazy that it was like what is happening. I mean, it was obvious that we're not in the stadium or arena, what have you, but it to me helped a bit with the whole ambiance of this match.
Yeah, and they were doing a lot of tributes to guys' finishers. You saw Edge doing Christian's kill switch. You also saw Edge doing a rock bottom. You saw Randy Orton doing a pedigree as well. So
pedigree, we had the Three Amigos.
Yep.
For
The
Eddie,
three-
Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
It's another move. Did you say Olympic Slam?
No, I didn't say that.
Olympic Slam by Orton.
Yeah.
And stuff. It made sense. A good story. Telling this match. I like how at the end for the finish, we haven't seen the punt really used. We have the punt teased many a times throughout the years.
Yeah,
but not really used. Mainly, they had the all the concussion deal, so they got rid of it. So I like that they had the RKO's, they had the spears, they didn't finish. But a move we haven't seen in a while that was always devastating that Orton was used once at the end, and that was the finish, and that knocked Edge out, if you will, and Orton got the win. So that punt meant something.
Right.
It wasn't like 5,000 finishes and false finishes. They didn't overuse their own finishers. How many times?
Edge kind of overused.
Well, he just had two.
Spear. Yeah. They were consecutive spears, and that didn't finish him, which that kind of surprised me. I thought that would done. And two, someone kicked out of the RKO, which that is pretty big because normally when someone hits that move, no one kicks out of the RKO there.
Well, I'm okay with the two spears because one, what we're going with based on what happened, at least to me, what happened to MASH with there was other finishers that were used that didn't do it. Okay, if one's not going to do it, let me use two, and that didn't do it. And then you saw Edge sell. What am I going to do? He had that look. He sold getting kicked out of the spear twice in back to back. I would have. I figured one wasn't going to do it. Two, that didn't do it, and that ended up with the punt. So I think that was okay. This wasn't like Rock Cena 2, where it was just AAs and rock bottoms.
That thing annoyed me like hell. But
that's killing finishers right there.
Yeah, that was definitely doing that.
So I thought this ending was perfect for what it was.
And it should also be known as well that according to the Observer, that supposedly Edge tore his triceps in this match.
If I didn't hear that, I probably would have not known.
No, and so with that being the case, I would assume he's probably done for the rest of 2020 at least, because you figure that's going to be a 7 to 9 month injury. But
we'll see if it's true.
Yeah, if it's true, I think he's probably done for the rest of the year. And honestly, after that match, I mean, if Edge if he went away for a while, not the worst thing, because there's really not much else that he can really do right now. So
and I like at the end, Orton went up to Edge on the mat, saying pretty much, go home, go to your wife, go to the bath, go to your kids, and tell them Uncle Randy said hi. Yeah. It's just like, oh. Yeah. And then they brought the stretcher out. Edge refused, and he looked dejected, and Randy Orton watched on with that Randy Orton look.
Yep. And that was your Backlash for this Sunday. So as always, guys, just an update, and we are not going to be doing our Wednesday night reaction show for Dynamite and NXT. That's going to be postponed for this week. So just stay tuned for our weekly podcast. As always, that drops every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we talk about whatever is exactly happening in the world, whether it's sports, wrestling, MMA, COVID, whatever. So Matt, anything else before we sign off here?
Nope.
All right. So as always, guys, follow our Twitter page, which everything is going to be in the description box. As well with our personal Twitters. And like this video, comment, subscribe, and for Matt and for John, everyone have a good night, and we'll see you